When someone says orange soda, Fanta usually comes to mind first. And even though it was the go-to drink for many of us in our childhoods, it's rarely used in cocktails. But that won't stop us from making a homemade version and using it to make a simple and delicious cocktail. The whole process can be done in under 15 minutes, and once you have all the ingredients, it's super cheap as well. Cocktail of the day will be a fantastic highball, made with an interesting grape spirit. But more about that later. We'll break down today's episode in 3 segments. First, I'll tell you about Fanta and how to make it at home. Then, we'll make our own cocktail and taste it. And lastly, the bottom of the glass, with some interesting facts. Let me know in the comments if you made it all the way there. Now, it's cocktail time. Fanta was created in Germany during the Second World War, because of a trade embargo from the US. Since they couldn't get the Coca-Cola syrup, the head of Coca-Cola Deutschland decided to create a new product with leftovers from other productions: sugar beet, whey and apple pomace. As the team was urged to come up with a good name and to use their imagination, or Fantasie in German, a salesman shouted, "Fanta!" Interestingly, the modern-day orange Fanta was first produced in Naples, Italy, in 1955, using locally sourced oranges. While we are on the subject of oranges, the US version doesn't contain any actual orange juice, while European versions do. Besides orange, Fanta is also known for its many flavors. There are more than 200 flavors worldwide, but we are making our version of their best known flavored soda, orange. Here's what you'll need: organic orange for the peels, water, sugar, saline solution, acids, malic, citric and ascorbic, and optionally some gentian root. There are 3 steps for making orange flavored soda. First, we'll make orange oleosaccharum and gentian tea. We'll use that plus other ingredients to make some fantastic syrup. And finally we add our DIY orange soda. Let's start. As I begin by thinly peeling a washed organic orange, I'd like to emphasize how important it is to use organic citrus when using the peels for infusions or blending them up. Citrus fruits are usually coated with a wax for extended shelf life and freshness, and even thorough washing doesn't completely remove the wax. So look for citrus with declared edible peels. Make sure you and your guests consume only the best and entirely safe products. I need 40 grams of orange peels, which I'll add to 450 grams of sugar. This will pull the oils from the peels. And to expedite this process, I'll give everything a good muddle. If you have extra time, you can make this a few hours before, but we'll blend the peels anyway, so we'll just leave this to sit for the time it takes us to make gentian tea. For that, I'll need 500 grams of water and 2.4 grams of gentian root. This is completely optional, but I wanted to add a touch of subtle bitterness to the orange. This balances the sweetness, and it will enhance the flavor of our orange soda cocktails. Leave this to steep for 5 minutes, then filter the tea and leave it to cool. I'll chill this using an ice bath. Now that we have all the ingredients ready, it's time to make our fantastic syrup. Into a blender, add a chilled gentian tea. We need 450 ml. If you're not using gentian tea, you just need 450 ml of water. Then add all the sugar with the orange peels and the extracted oils. Make sure you get it all out, so rinse it with the tea. And of course the acids: 1.5 grams of ascorbic acid, also known as vitamin C, 2.5 grams of malic, and 20 grams of citric acid. Blend everything for at least 30 seconds, or long enough for orange peels to be completely blended. Once that's done, it's time to strain our fantastic syrup through a cloth filter. Shouldn't take too long, and you're ready to make your own orange soda. I'm using the Easy Twist and Sparkle, which allows you to carbonate flavored drinks. I'm starting with 120 ml or 4 ounces of our orange flavored syrup to enhance the bright citrus flavors. I'm also adding 20% saline solution. Add 8 drops. Lastly, top up with 680 ml of cold water, which will be enough for 8 servings. Then we just add a CO2 cartridge and twist to carbonate all of the liquid. For extra carbonation, we'll add another cartridge after about 30 minutes. Now as the gas slowly releases into the drink, I'll place these in the fridge. In the meantime, I'll bottle some small bottles, since I have plenty of syrup left, and this old school bottle cap sealer. I did the same thing with my homemade Kevin Cola. Into each bottle add 30 ml of syrup, 2 drops of saline solution, and top it up with soda. You really want your soda water to be as cold as possible, as that will have the most carbonation. Then gently pour the soda into each bottle, filling all the way up to the neck of the bottle. Place the cap on the bottle and press hard on the bottle capper to ensure a nice seal. Turn the bottle to mix the ingredients and that's it. Before I try our homemade orange soda, I'll add a second carbonation to our twist and sparkle. Swap out the cartridge and repeat the process from before. I'll place it straight back in the fridge. Wait a few minutes and it will be ready to give it a try. The aroma and taste is very similar to classic orange sodas. The sweetness of orange is present throughout, but there's an interesting subtle bitterness that nicely balances our fantastic soda. We made a wonderfully refreshing drink. Now we can get on to making the cocktail. I'm calling it the Brandy&Orange. This is a special brandy highball, but I'll also make 2 extra cocktails with different base spirits for our supporters over on Patreon. Why is this a special brandy highball? Because even though the base spirit is made similarly to cognac, it's proudly made outside of France. This is Ararat, the Armenian brandy, which has been produced for over 130 years. It's made with only indigenous Armenian grapes and matured in casks made from Caucasian oak, also called Persian oak, which grows in the Caucasus and the surrounding region. The 7-year aged Ararat Ani blend has a rich amber color. It's pleasantly warm on the nose with the aroma of grapes and dried fruits. On the flavor it's fresh and spicy with bright notes of orange, vanilla and subtle hints of almond. Well worth a try. Alongside the Armenian brandy and orange soda, you'll also need some saline solution and an absinthe perfume. This will add beautiful herbal and anise notes to the cocktail. Plus, it looks nice as you're finishing the preparation of the cocktail. So pour a small amount of absinthe into a spray bottle and let's move on to building the cocktail. No mixing glass or shaker for this one, but straight into a chilled high tumbler glass filled with ice. Chill the glass first and pour out the melted water. Start with 1.5 ounce or 45 ml of brandy. Alongside the 7, Ararat's core collection also includes the 3, 5, 10, 15 and 20-year-old brandies. Next I'm adding 2 drops of 20% saline solution. Top that with 4 ounces or 120 ml of our homemade orange flavored soda. As always with carbonated ingredients, I'm not using a jigger for this. Mix the ingredients with a gentle turn and lift off a bar spoon. A mint garnish will pair nicely with a herbal aroma and brighten up the overall appearance of the cocktail. And finish it off with a few sprays of absinthe on top. A little goes a long way. First you'll get anise and mint, both of which are a great combination with orange. Ararat Anise 7 works great in this cocktail, as it doesn't let our fantastic soda dominate, but it actually elevates the orange soda. What more could you ask for? With that, you've made it to the bottom of the glass. Post the grape emoji in the comments because we'll talk about the origin of today's brandy. Before we get to that though, I still owe you a follow-up on the milk syrup. In that episode, I promised to check on the shelf life of this interesting syrup, since I haven't made it before. It's now been 35 days since we shot that episode, and it's no longer good. So let's say up to 4 weeks. So, did you know that Armenia, the home of Ararat, is also believed to be the birthplace of wine? This small landlocked country, with the capital city of Yerevan, is bordered by Turkey, Georgia, Azerbaijan, and Iran, and this region is where they found some of the oldest historical evidence of winemaking, going back around 6,000 years. If that inspires you to make a wine-based cocktail, check out the episode where I made a cocktail with white wine, fig liqueur, and orange bitters. Until next time, cheers, friends of cocktails.